So this morning, something funny happened. I actually woke up before my alarm went off.
Wow.
I know, right? I felt like ready to go, full of energy. It doesn't happen too often.
I can imagine.
Do you ever feel like your brain has a favorite time of day?
Hmm.
Like some people, they're morning people, they love mornings, and some people, they come alive at night, right? So that gets me thinking, are you more of a morning person or a night owl?
That's a great question.
Let's dive into this a little bit. Our expert is here,
Mm.
and we're going to unpack some interesting insights from what's basically a conversation between two coworkers. And they kind of have totally different experiences with this whole morning person, night owl thing.
What's so interesting about this is that it's not just a preference,
Right.
There's actually like a scientific reason why some people just naturally wake up early and others, they feel more alert later in the day. It's fascinating.
Okay, so let's unpack this conversation. So these coworkers are just chatting, by the coffee machine or something, and one of them looks exhausted,
Oh,
even with coffee in hand.
oh, that's rough.
Yeah, it turns out they were up late working on a project, and they mentioned going to bed at like 1 or 2 in the morning.
Oh, that's late.
Yeah, pretty late.
Yeah.
And the other coworker's like totally surprised because they're used to waking up at 5 a.m. every day.
Wow, that is a huge difference in their
I
schedules.
know. Wild, right? Like I can't even imagine waking up at 5 a.m. I'm a night owl for sure. But this early bird, they actually love mornings. They say it's their favorite time of day. Everything's quiet. They can get things done before anyone else is even awake. It's like their secret productive time.
Yeah, and it brings up a good point, actually. This morning person, they really believe that going to bed early is what makes it easy to wake up early. And,
Mm.
they're not wrong. A lot of people, that works for them.
Yeah, makes sense. But our night owl coworker, they have a totally different perspective.
Ooh, I'm intrigued.
They feel more alive at night. Like that's when they feel creative, ideas are flowing. It's like their brain just comes alive when the sun goes down.
That's so interesting because there is actually research that suggests that night owls might be wired differently. Like their brains might be more active and more creative later in the day.
See, I never thought about it that way. That's so cool. I can definitely relate to that, feeling more inspired at night. What about you? Have you ever noticed that your brain kind of works better at certain times?
Oh, absolutely. It's amazing how our bodies have these natural rhythms. But even though this night owl coworker, they really embraced their late night schedule, there was a time when they tried to become a morning person.
Really?
Yeah, they thought maybe it would make them more productive, kind of like get a jump start on the day.
Oh, I've been there. I tried that too. It did not go well. It's
Well,
like
yeah.
my brain just refused to cooperate before like 8 a.m.
So what happened with your coworker? Well, they set their alarm for 6 a.m., full of good intentions, right? But when that alarm went off, it was a big nope.
Oh,
Hit that snooze button a few times and ended up sleeping in until their usual wake up time.
that is hilarious. I can totally picture that. Like the alarm goes off and you're just like,
Right.
ooh, 5 more minutes. And then suddenly it's an hour later.
It's so relatable. We've all been there.
Oh, totally. But what's funny? The morning person in this conversation, they actually had a tip for our struggling night owl.
They said, just put your alarm clock across the room. That way you actually have to get out of bed to turn it off.
That's a really good tip because it forces you to like move, wake up your body a little bit.
Yeah.
It's so much harder to fall back asleep once you're already up and about.
Exactly. And that tip, it makes me think of some other helpful strategies for, well, both morning people and night owls.
Yeah.
It's not really about forcing yourself to become someone you're not. It's more like working with what you've got naturally, to optimize your sleep and be more productive.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So, what kind of strategies are we talking about here?
Well, if you're trying to be more of an early bird, the main thing is consistency. Like, try to go to bed and wake up around the same time every day, even on weekends.
Oh, that's tough.
It is. But it really helps to train your body's natural sleep wake cycle. And honestly, don't underestimate sunlight. Getting some sunlight first thing in the morning can really help signal to your brain, hey, it's time to wake up.
That's interesting. Yeah, I've definitely noticed that I feel more alert when I get a little bit of sunlight in the morning. But what about for us night owls? Are there any tips for making that work?
Oh, absolutely. For night owls, it's all about creating a calming bedtime routine. It's so easy to get caught up scrolling through your phone or watching videos late at night.
Oh, yeah.
But that can actually stimulate your brain and make it harder to fall asleep.
Right. So maybe like swap the screen time for something more relaxing, like reading a book or taking a bath.
Exactly. And hydration is super important, but maybe skip that extra cup of coffee late at night. Also, taking short breaks throughout the evening can help you from getting burnt out, and just help you stay focused.
Yeah, breaks are so important. It's easy to get caught up in work or a project and totally forget to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
This is actually making me realize this whole conversation, we often try to fight against our natural rhythms
Yeah,
instead of just kind of embracing them?
that's a really good point. It's like we're told all the time that being a morning person is the key to success. But that's just not true for everyone.
Right. It's definitely not one size fits all. There's no better or worse when it comes to this stuff. It's all about understanding your own rhythm and figuring out what works for you.
Yeah, I totally agree. And that's what's so cool about this topic. It reminds us that everyone has different strengths,
Yeah.
and different peak performance times. It's that diversity that makes things interesting. Imagine if everyone was a morning person.
It would be a much quieter world, that's for sure.
Right. Think about all the amazing late night creativity we'd miss out on.
Totally. So whether you like thrive in the quiet stillness of the morning or you really come alive when the moon is up, there's no need to try to be someone you're not. Just embrace your natural, what is it called? Your chronotype
It's your chronotype.
and find what works best for you. Which actually brings us back to our original question for all of you listening. Are you a morning person or a night owl? Let us know. We want to hear from you. Have you ever tried to like change your sleep schedule?
Yeah.
Be more of a morning person or a night owl? Did it work? What kind of strategies have you found helpful? Tell us in the comments.
It's all about finding that sweet spot where you can work with what your body naturally wants to do and still, reach your goals.
You know what I find really encouraging about this whole thing? It's not about like one being better or worse.
Yeah.
It's not like morning people are somehow better than night owls or the other way around.
Exactly.
It's really just recognizing that we're all different. We all have different strengths and rhythms.
That's right.
So if you're like a night owl out there and you feel this pressure to conform to like the typical 9 to 5 world, don't be too hard on yourself.
Yeah. There are ways to make it work. Maybe look into jobs with more flexible hours or carve out some time in the evening when you're feeling super inspired to do your creative thing.
And remember, even small changes can make a big difference. Play around with your sleep schedule, your work environment, your routine. Just see what makes you feel your best.
It's a journey, a self-discovery journey to figure out what works best for you.
Love that. And who knows, maybe you'll even discover some hidden talents or passions you never knew you had. Like maybe those late night brainstorm sessions will lead to your next big breakthrough, or those early morning walks will spark a new creative project.
You never know. So embrace your inner night owl or morning person. Don't be afraid to try things out and see what works for you.
This has been so interesting. It's a good reminder that there's no right way to be. We're all unique, and that's a good thing.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of morning people and night owls.
We hope you found it insightful, relatable, maybe even a little inspiring. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like and subscribe for more fun and insightful deep dives into all sorts of everyday topics.
We'll catch you next time.
Thanks for joining the conversation here at Kaz English. We hope you found it fun and informative. Don't forget to check out kazapp.uk. That's KAZAPP.uk for more tips, resources, and interactive practice. Keep exploring, keep chatting, and we'll catch up with you again soon.